Hey everyone, welcome back to Driple Studios. In today's Roblox scripting tutorial, we're going to make a pop-up GUI to purchase these doors for the door system video that we recently made. So to get started, I'm going to design a quick GUI. I'll get back to you once I've done it and I'll explain what I've done, but just for time, I'll just quickly do that off camera. Okay, so this is the GUI I've created. I've just named the screen GUI Wall GUI, and inside of this screen GUI, I've added a frame and named it Background. I've just set the size, the colour of the frame. I've also added a text label which just says some text like, do you want to buy the zone? I've added a confirm button and a cancel button. Now inside of the cancel button, I'm going to add a local script. And in here, we just need to delete the GUI. So we want to delete the wall GUI from the player whenever they cancel. Because what's going to happen is this wall GUI will be in replicated storage. In fact, we can drag it in there now. So it will be in replicated storage, and then when the player touches the wall, we'll have it cloned, we'll have it duplicated and placed inside of the player. So each player will have their own wall GUI put inside of their player GUI whenever they touch the wall. So we need to delete the clone. So to do that, we'll get the replicated storage, local replicated storage equals game::get service, replicated storage, and we're going to get the replicated storage because we're going to add a remote event in here. And we'll rename this to delete wall GUI. The reason we're going to create this is because we want to delete the clone on the server and not the client. Because if we delete it on the client, it will just delete for the player, but it will still be there on the server. Which means that whenever we try to add it again, if they touch the wall again in the future, it won't add because it thinks it already exists inside the player. You'll understand a bit more what I mean later on. Now let's actually get this remote event. Local delete wall GUI remote event equals replicated storage : wait for child delete wall GUI. We'll also just get the button, so local button equals script.parent. And now we can say button.mouse button one click : connect function. So when the button is left clicked, this function will be called, and then we can just fire the delete wall GUI remote event. So we'll say : fire server. And that's it for the cancel button. So I'll close that. And next we've got the confirm button. So let's add a local script to confirm. Now this one will be similar. Again, we're going to add one more remote event to replicated storage. And we'll rename this to confirm purchase. And we'll use this to actually confirm that the player's bought the wall. So same thing, if I just go to our cancel button and copy the code, I can paste it into here. And then we can just make a few changes. Rather than the delete wall GUI, it will be confirm purchase GUI, or RE, sorry. And this will be : wait for child confirm purchase. And then we'll say button.mouse button one click : connect. Rather than firing that server, we want to say confirm purchase : fire server. And in here, we're going to pass in button.parent.parent. We want to pass in the GUI because we still want to delete the GUI. But we need to pass the GUI through, so we've got easy access to it. We could do the same in the cancel script as well, but the cancel script, I'll just code it into the main wall handler. Whereas here, I'll just pass it as an argument just for easy access to the GUI. Two different ways of doing it, basically. Now we can close that. Now we need to I'll open up the desert wall. So if I open up desert and wall, hit part and handler, we need to change the handler scripts in each of the walls. It's a bit of a pain if you've already made all your walls, but it's fairly simple. It's just a copy and paste job. So open up the handler. After we've got the hide wall remote event, let's get our other two remote events we've made. So that's confirm purchase remote event is replicated storage : wait for child confirm purchase. And we've also got the delete wall GUI remote event is replicated storage : wait for child delete wall GUI. We'll also actually get the wall GUI. So wall GUI is replicated storage : wait for child wall GUI. Make sure you've dragged your GUI into the replicated storage here. Now we're going to make some changes. So when the wall is touched, we'll check if the player exists still, and we'll want to check if the wall exists, but we don't need to check the leader stats and the cache because we're actually only going to subtract these if they've confirmed the purchase. So we'll take out the check for the leader stats and the cache.value. So all we want is to check if the walls folder exists. I'll paste these in down here. So we want if player then check if the wolves folder exists. Let me just backspace all of this quickly. There we go. So we just want to check if the player exists, then we want to check if the wolves folder exists, and then we want to check if the wall exists. We can remove this code as well. I'll remove the code down here too, just to clear it up, and we'll just rewrite it in a minute. So if the wall variable exists, we want to check if the player already has the wall GUI inside of them, i.e. they've already touched the wall. If they've already touched the wall and they've not cancelled or confirmed the purchase, then we don't want to show the wall again, because otherwise we're just going to keep duplicating it and they're just going to have 100 wall GUIs. So we'll just say if player.player GUI find first child wall GUI is equal to nil and wall.value is false, then. So that means any code in here is only going to run if the player has the wall GUI in replicated storage and they've got a clone of it inside of their player GUI. The player GUI is just a folder inside of the player that contains all the GUI being shown to the player. Think of it as starter GUI. Anything in starter GUI gets put into the player GUI. So if that's nil, then that means there is no wall GUI currently inside the player, which means we can show a new wall GUI. And if the wall.value is false, that means the wall hasn't already been purchased, because the hit event will still be called even when the wall isn't there, even when it's transparent. So by checking if wall.value is false, we will only run this code if they don't already own the wall. And all we'll do in here is get the GUI. So local GUI is wall GUI. And then we'll clone that using clone. And then we'll say GUI.background.confirm.text. Now, this, as you notice, if I drag this into starter GUI, you notice my buy and then it has the money here. That's just a personal preference. But I've got the wall GUI, then background, then confirm. So that's why I'm doing GUI.background here is this frame, .confirms the confirm button, .text will be the text on the confirm button. Obviously your UI will probably look different to mine, it may not be named the exact same, so just make sure this is the path to your confirm button. This will be equal to by, then a dash, then I'll just do a little $sign, and I'll concatenate toString the cost.value. Then we'll say GUI.parent equals player.player GUI. And that will put the GUI inside of the player. Okay, now let's do the confirm purchase. So this one's going to be a bit long. Confirm purchase remote event, .onServer event, :connect, function, the player, and remember we passed in the GUI as well. So we'll check if the leader stats exists. Here we go. So this is the exact same as before, just up here. Remember when we removed it, I've just pasted it back in. Local leader stats is player, find first child leader stats, if leader stats then. Then we need to check if the cache exists. So it's all the same checks. Here we go. So local cache is leader stats, find first child cache, if cache then. Again, I don't want to retype all of this because we already had it in up there. Then we need to check if the player has enough cache. So again, if cache.value is greater than or equal to cost.value, same as we had up here originally. And then once again, we still want to check if the walls folder exists. So if I just copy this check if walls folder exists, paste that in. And then we want to check if the wall variable exists. It's still this exact same bit of code. It's just got a few more checks on the confirm purchase. And then we can actually sort of hide the wall. So if wall.value is false, so if we don't already own the wall, we'll set the value to true. Then we can say cache.value minus equals cost.value. And then we can hide the wall on the client by saying hide wall remote event fire client, passing in the player we want to hide it on, and hit part.parent, passing in the wall basically. Again, we went over this in the last video, so I don't want to go over it and explain it again. And then we can just say GUI destroy after this end here, because once we've hidden the wall, we want to just destroy the GUI because it doesn't need to be visible anymore. Now we'll say delete wall GUI remote event .onServer event :connect function passing in the player. If player.player GUI find first child wall GUI Then make sure you're spelling this wall GUI exactly how it's spelt in your replicated storage as well. Then we'll just say player.playerGUI.wall_GUI like so. And this will just destroy the GUI when the destroy wall GUI remote event is fired. And the player is automatically passed in. So whenever we fire a remote event from the client to the server, the player is automatically passed along as an argument. So we need it as a parameter here. And this is it. We can now copy all of this code and go into all the other walls in your game and just replace the handler scripts with that code. So now if I was to go into the data store, so let me open up server script service. Let me just put tutorial 2, just so I've got a new data store, and hit test and play. You'll see that as I collect my cache, when I go up to the wall and touch it, it will still appear. I can't buy it, but I can cancel. And then when I do have enough cash, I'll be able to buy it and it will disappear. Here we go, so that'll touch it. Yes, I want to buy it, it disappears. And if I stop and reload the game, it should save. Well, it will save because we've implemented that in the last one. So yeah, it's still saved. Perfect. If you don't want the GUI to appear until you have enough cash, so as you saw, if I had like 200 cash and I still touched it, it would still appear. Then we can just go back into the handler. On the hit part.touched, where we're checking about all this GUI here, we can just say, add in our cache checks and our leader stats check. So copy these from our confirm purchase. Add them here. If cache then, if cache.value is greater than or equal to the cost.value, then, and then we can paste that code in there to clone the GUI. And that's just a few more checks. You don't have to add that bit, but I will just to show you that that bit works. Do that in the other wall as well. Now, when I reset the data store, again, test and play. Now, when I don't have enough cash, the GUI won't even appear. But when I do have enough cash, it will. So I'll touch it, nothing appears. But if I actually get enough cash, the GUI will appear. There we go. No, I don't want to buy it, and then if I walk back in it, I can buy it. So that works. And just to show you it only takes the right amount of cash away, you don't need to test this one, but I'll just show you it. So if I gave myself 10,000 cash, if I get the 3,000, my cash will be left to 7,000. It won't take it all away. 3,000 takes it down to 7,000, so that works as well. Perfect. So that is it, everyone. Hopefully you found the video helpful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Check out our Discord server where you can ask for help others, or just chat there too. We're trying to build a community of future game developers. Thanks for watching and goodbye.